Hey guys, Cockerpunk here again with, I think I'm on my fourth video of old guns and taking you through them, and maybe your understanding of history has improved, hopefully. Anyway, here is the next gun on my list, of things to do. This is a Tribal. Tribal was made by Toxic Toys, which is a company that was out of Australia. A little bit of history on there is these are suspected of being made out of Merlin extrusions. So we got like a Merlin body. Right, the way they manufacture a Merlin body, or most gun bodies for that matter, is they have a die that's shaped like this front profile of the gun, and they squeeze a bunch of metal through it, and it turns into a big long rod that's just a two-dimensional version of the body, and then they saw it in half, mill them flat, and I'll mill them out. Anyway, it's a really cheap way to do it. That way you don't have to buy the billet and machine it from billet, because that's expensive. Anyway, so the rumor is that these were made in that method, that these were built off of Merlin extrusions, which may or may not be true. Looking at them, it's hard to tell. There's also some discussion about that because Toxic Toys is notoriously cheap, as we will see, and Merlin extrusions probably cost a fair amount of money. So there's that argument. Now, the Tribal right here, this is obviously a single-fingered Tribal, which I like. They made doubles too, but I always like a single-triggered electronic gun. It works more or less like an Intimidator or a Ego or an Impulse kind of thing, and I would consider it a better made Impulse. It premiered at about that price range, and the reason why I think it's a better made Impulse is, one, it's not as big and heavy. Two, it actually has what functions like an LPR. This is in the front plug here, is what a part that functions as an LPR. Which the Impulse obviously did not have an LPR, like all Smart Parts guns. It's a single, stack tube gun here with the bolt right here, and then there's the hammer cartridge right back here. This gun has been retrofitted with eyes, which is kind of nice. So, and then I can turn on the eyes, and it won't work until the eyes are broken, which is nice. There's been a lot of these are kind of like Rainmakers in that they weren't spectacular performing guns stock, but with some tinkering you can really make them rip and have a lot of fun with them. The reg here, the Toxic Toys reg, not a very good reg. It keeps it consistent, but just it's not all that well of a performing reg. The LPR system, like I said, it functions like an LPR, but it's also not the greatest thing in the world. Cocker threaded barrel, has a single solenoid back here in the tray, control board here, the 9-volt down here, and then it has a back plate, rather like an Angel, behind the hammer cartridge. The hammer cartridge only comes up to about here, and there's an empty space here for the wiring for the on-off switch and then the eye switch. I always like that with the eye switch because a lot of new guns don't have the eye switch, which I think is convenient because if you chop or something like that and your eyes are malfunctioning, you can just go boop. Anyway, or if you get a rollback or something like that. That's been a problem with even modern guns. The SLG has rollback issues and whatnot. Anyway, so it's a lot of fun to shoot. I enjoy shooting this gun. It's rather plain as far as everything about it, except for that no one knows what these things are. Now, Toxic Toys came about in about 2001 and dumped a bunch of these guns on the market for pretty cheap, and then just left like a year and a half later. Nobody really knows exactly the story on what happened to Toxic Toys, but a lot of people suspect that they turned into MacDev. And the lineage should probably be pretty clear. I mean, sure, they both work like Intimidators and all that, but again, the LPR on the Cyborg is actually functions rather like the AOC, or whatever they call this LPR system here. Like I said, this is actually based off a Merlin extrusion for sure. This has been shown to be a Merlin extrusion. So there are differing stories as to what exactly happened to Toxic Toys. It would be cool if they turned into MacDev, because MacDev's a great company. And the lineage between this gun and the Cyborg is pretty clear. And it makes sense whether it's one of those things that's true or not. So, but that's a tribal. This is a BTB. They came with different millings. There's a Twister, which has the Twister milling, which is very cool. And then there's the Manifesto, which has a different milling as well. But it also, I like it's kind of like a combination between Sponge and Splash Anno on here. Anyway, it shoots really good. Shoots better than an Impulse. It's lighter. I think it performs better than the Impulse. Maybe with a better reg, it would actually top out it better than the Impulse. But you just don't see them around anymore, and they're kind of an interesting anecdote in paintball history again. And it serves me because I've always wanted a single-fingered electronic gun. I've been looking for an Angel LED for so long that has a single trigger. So, yeah, that's just the Tribal. It's a pretty sweet gun. I like it. Shoots really well. So, yeah, that's just stop 4 on our paintball tours list. So, you guys have a good one.